Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Come on in, y'all.
Oh, so y'all can go live on y'all phone too, if y'all or tune in. The only thing I ask is that you just turn the volume down.
Yeah.
What's up, good people? Everybody rolling on in. Welcome to Talk About It Thursday. We out here in these streets, y'all. We got the beautiful Miss Dominique to my right. She is a lovely conversation member.
Yes.
Yeah, girl. Hey. Welcome, welcome. And then to my left here, we have the Mr. Shakir Wallace. Hey, Shakir. Yeah. all night long. That's what you're going to get.
We got Black Moses in the building.
Hey, girl.
That's right.
Black Moses.
Then we got the one and only Miss Lysandra Oak. She going to give it to y'all all night long.
All right, y'all. What's going on?
All night long. All night long.
All night.
Oh, God. Both of y'all. I don't know what...
We're going to be on
Shakir, we're going to be all right today?
Yeah, because you know I don't know none of these words.
You don't know? I forgot. Okay.
Oh, God.
Yo.
Okay, what's up, Moni? What's up, DeMarcus? Bruce, what's up, Bruce?
What's up, y'all?
Lovey, everybody rolling on in. Y'all say hey to my wonderful people. They just are awesomely amazing tonight. So it's going to be a good segment. Tonight we are talking about stereotypes of the black woman and their impact on how they are viewed in relationships and society. So I think this is an important topic. Before we actually sat down, y'all let me know how we sound. Again, y'all, this is Talk About It Thursday. Before I even address that, first things first, please make sure y'all got a drink in y'all hand. Y'all know how we do. Raise it up. Cheers to Thursday, Friday Eve.
Yes.
Yes, cheers, good people. And cheers to you guys at home as well. Let me know what y'all sipping on tonight. Let me know. I got me some.
What y'all got?
With vodka.
With vodka?
With ginger ale, lemonade,
snap.
and a splash of cranberry juice.
That sounds good enough for me to eat it.
Right. I can drink it though. I
can do both.
At the same
time.
Hey. What y'all drink? What you drinking on, Dominique? What I got over there?
This is Liberty Creek Sweet Red, and it is delicious. And I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna sip this tomorrow. I drink the whole bottle over the week.
That's okay. It's fine. I don't judge. I don't, honey. It's just not gonna be my first or last. What you got over there, Shakir?
Oh, wow.
What?
I thought you would never ask.
It
It is the official sponsor of Mr. #FWM. Yes.
Hennessy!
Absolutely.
Can I get a sip of that Hennessy?
That Hennessy she will, Hennessy won't.
I love it. Lysandra, you cutting up tonight.
I'm cutting
She
up.
halfway sleepy over here, y'all. She gonna pep up. What's up, Zai? Tyler, what's going on? Kelly, what's going on? Marquise, what's up?
What's up, everybody?
So y'all know how we roll. We're gonna do this. Again, we're talking about stereotypes of the black woman and their impact on how they are viewed in relationships and society. All right, guys. So this should be very good. I think the first step in addressing this as people is going to be for us to actually just talk about it. Because I was literally just having this conversation before the show, and it's like, who starts this? Like, where do we begin to get the growth from here? Like, you know, is it who starts it? Is our black men going to start it? Is our black women going to start it? Like, that's kind of the thing that we're struggling against right now. Is who's going to start it? So I think the first thing to do is just start talking about it. You know, and then we'll go from there. We'll address some things. We'll honor some things, and then we'll figure out from there. We'll all take our own accountability to start this thing off first. So that's what we'll do. So I'm gonna again introduce everybody. We got some more people on. We got to my right the beautiful, dynamic, amazing, lovely, everything, fashionista, rocking her own style, know who I am, the Queen Dominique to my right.
Yeah.
Girl, you get that kind of introduction. So, Dominique, question for you. Hey guys, you let me know if you can't hear them or if, you know, I need to turn my music down. Question for you, Dominique, and I normally ask our guests just one question, but for you, what inspired your sense of fashion?
I would say my grandmother. she was definitely very fashionable. And so I used to raid her closets. She was like, oh, she loves clothes, she loves hats, she loves shoes. And so whenever I would go to her house, I was like, oh, let me try this. So I just raided her closet and just would put stuff together, and she'd be like, oh, so she would be like, yes, she was so that was it. It's just my own style, creating my own things. Sometimes I would see something and it'd be like, that's not in my size. So let's create my own size, let's my own fit, let's mesh it together so I can make it look good. So that was also seeing my grandmother and then wanting fashionable clothes, but maybe not being able to, go to the store and be like off the rack so I can scoop them up.
Yeah.
Make them work, sew some things, so that was it.
So you sew as well?
A little bit.
Okay.
Enough to get by.
Okay.
That's good. You can do some.
Better than I can. I will put a safety pin in and keep going.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Get some of that stitch tape.
That too.
I ain't tried
Fabric
that.
glue.
You haven't? It works.
I need to.
That hem and tape, girl.
Hem and tape.
Hem and tape. That's what they call it.
Hemming. You is from Wakanda. Alright, so y'all, let me get a heart for Miss Dominique out here in the building on tonight. I'm definitely really happy to have her on. She's a phenomenal, amazing woman that happens to be African American. So I had to add it just like that and say it just like that because we are not color. We are people, and we all have the same struggles that go on within our life no matter what color we are.
Exactly.
So, yes, that is that. Then to my far left, right past Little Wakanda over here, we got the incredible, the handsome, the debonair, the stylish in his own way, the country, the black brawny man, Shakir motherfucking Wallace.
That's right. Right.
It's the man.
Hey, everybody.
The man.
It's your boy. I'm finally here. They finally got me out of my cave, so we're here. That's right.
Yes,
That's right.
AKA Shaq.
That's
All right.
That's right.
So Shaq, question for you.
Okay.
You a country boy?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I got to give you a country question.
Please do.
Let's hear it.
Growing up, you got a big family?
Very big.
Very big. Did you grow up on a farm?
No.
Okay. Well,
You know how to milk a cow?
Not at all.
so you have a big family. Growing up in the country, what was your favorite thing to do as a kid with your family?
With family, we had an amusement park that pretty much all my family worked at, called Ghost Town. If anybody ever been to Maggie Valley,
Ghost
just
Town in the
outside
sky.
Waynesville. That's right.
I know that.
That's the one. That's the one.
It's Hidden Valley.
Maggie Valley.
Maggot.
That's the ring.
It's a maggot. It's country. If it's a maggot,
Maggie Valley.
Maggot Valley, you know you in country.
Maggie Valley.
Country land.
But honestly, my first love is NASCAR, which a lot of people don't know, especially being a black man in a predominantly white sport. NASCAR is the thing that I grew up on.
Oh, really?
So before I knew football, I knew NASCAR.
Who's your favorite driver?
I was born in the Earnhardt family.
Earnhardt. He was born in there. He's always born in the Earnhardt family.
Yes.
Not the Bosch.
Yo, they've been raised as a family together for a long time now.
Yeah, they have a long time.
40, 50 years.
Gosh.
Yes.
Did you ride go? You know what? I did see your accomplishment the other day. First place
That's
in
right.
the go-kart race.
Like
You gotta start somewhere.
Man, I put that Earnhardt on real quick.
I want you guys to give Shakir a heart. Welcome him to the show, guys. Definitely glad to have you on. Looking forward to your perspective in regards to this topic tonight. Again, guys, y'all know how this works. We talk to y'all, y'all talk to us, y'all talk to each other. We need your input, we need your suggestions tonight. This is going to be a very profound topic. So right now, if you could stop what you're doing and share this live. Sharing is caring.
Share it.
Sharing is caring. So yeah, share this live. Just a couple quick things that we got for you guys. First thing, ladies' night out tomorrow. Ladies. If y'all coming tomorrow, please RSVP or remove yourself if you're not. go to the PayPal link in the event, make your payment, or let me know via inbox or on the actual event that you will pay when you get there on Friday. All right? It is from 8:30 to 10:30, and we will be having a pole dancing class.
Y'all better go on and get your twirl on.
I'm trying to be there.
I'm telling you, like, we about to wind down. Look, it's BYOB, ladies. We're gonna have wine, alcohol. I don't know how much of that is gonna mix with this twerk class that we're gonna be doing tomorrow.
Hey.
But we're gonna get this thing popping, all right?
With a strong pole.
It girl, that's
It's strong.
Okay.
They hammered and nailed into the ceiling.
They got
I don't
springs
want
and
no
everything.
world star moments.
No,
I need
oh,
to work here.
It's how you pick. Oh yeah, you good.
Yeah, you ready. You ready. And plus, we got you. We sisters. We ain't gonna show nothing that ain't gonna have you right. Like, we gonna edit and crop, make sure you look like you. Seems like you're ready. Well, no, what's Diamond's song?
That's it.
Was that it? Okay.
That's it.
Yes, so yeah, we're gonna make sure y'all ready tomorrow. So y'all come on out, pay that. 20 people is a cap, so the first 20 is the people who are gonna be able to get in. Look, let's have a good time, ladies. Fellowship with one another. Embrace our sexy. That's what we're doing. We're embracing our sexy. So tomorrow is whatever you feel sexy in is whatever we dancing in tomorrow. All right?
Bring out your cat suit.
Say it again.
Bring out your cat suit.
We'll bring out what else?
And your cat's meow.
Bring out your booty shorts,
Put
ladies.
a little purr on it.
Put your fishnets on, like
Fishnets.
Come on out,
Them
have a good time.
stilettos. Bring out them stilettos and platforms, some clear heels.
So, question:
Not the clear heels.
Can men attend?
No, they cannot attend this event.
Can we support?
You can support. Hey, men, if you want to sponsor a lady,
He's sponsored.
I am a fan of sponsorships.
Yes.
This is a scholarship opportunity for you to shoot your shot.
Yes.
All right. If you would like to, send your lady to twerk class, pole dance on tomorrow.
I once was a sponsored child.
It would be in your best interest.
Thank you.
And it would be an investment. So I definitely encourage you all to do that.
If I sponsor a lady, then you know what it is.
What is it?
Oh, blessed be the rock.
I'm telling you.
Hashtag FWM.
Oh, that is his hashtag. Oh my gosh. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have guys with some men sponsor. Just like last time, afterwards we'll post some amazing pictures, let everybody know how much of an awesome time that we had. It's gonna be awesome. DeMarcus, you are not being a security tomorrow night.
Security.
That's right. I approve, Mr. Marcus.
We're not. Also, next things, guys, since the month is ending, for next month we got toiletries for the homeless. That is the Love Thy Neighbor segment of what we do in the conversation. The conversation just is not about being on social media, hiding behind the screen. We actually get out in the community. We meet each other. We do things. We try to help the world be a better place. We make the difference here in the conversation. Absolutely. So next month is toiletries for the homeless. I will announce the date. Instead of game night next month, we are all going to get together and play either laser tag or have a night of paintball. All right, some paintball games.
Y'all right? Get ready. It's your chance to shoot your shot.
Yeah, literally. Just don't shoot nobody in the head, okay? Don't shoot nobody in the head. Don't shoot nobody in the head, okay? Yes, yeah, all right. Then, last but not least, we have a cigar social that we are going to announce as well. So how does cigar go, Sandra?
Wait a minute.
But that's okay. That's all right. That's your cigar. That's a cigarette.
Let's get it right.
That's the reefer.
That's a funny smell cigarette.
That what?
That funny
It's
smell
a reefer.
Please.
Funny smell.
That cigarette mama never told me about.
Yeah.
So y'all come on out. Again, check the events tab. I'm really looking forward to everybody coming on out. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. At any time, guys, if y'all see some comments that's funny or people saying something, just please feel free to say, hey, such and such said such and such, all right? Shout out to, again, everybody that's watching. All right, now here we go. Our favorite part, well, one of my favorite parts is the either or segment, yes. All right? Nobody else has the answer to these, but this is the part of the segment where you let me know. I'm going to give you a question. You got to let me know which one you'd rather do. All right, and why? Okay,
I'm ready.
All right. Skinny dip with a coworker, or skinny dip with a complete stranger. Skinny dip with a coworker, or with a complete stranger? Which one?
I'm gonna say complete stranger because I don't have to see them after the skinny dip episode. I might have to see my coworker again.
You might, girl.
So,
you know what I'm saying? You might.
So I'm gonna go ahead with the stranger, and we're just gonna say our bye-byes and leave it at that. Stranger.
Okay. What you got, Shakir?
I completely agree. Yeah, because I don't want my coworkers to see me in that light, and my supervisor always tells me, "Don't put your dick in the cash register." So,
Amen. Amen.
Right there.
Amen.
Don't abuse that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with stranger.
What you got?
Yeah, I'm about to do the stranger thing because I say if I do it with a coworker, every time I see them, be like, "Darkness in the building." I'm gonna be ragging them the whole time. So yeah, I'm gonna say a stranger, but with my luck, you bound to see the person again. You bound to cross paths with them.
That's okay. Just act like you don't know me. Continue.
Irony is something. Yeah.
All right, so most people, and the consensus on this is stranger. All right, consensus on this is stranger. Next question: would you rather have one wish granted to you today, or 3 wishes granted to you in 10 years? One wish, or 3 wishes. 1 wish is today, 3 wishes 10 years from now.
1 wish today.
Okay, Ray J.
If I had
1 wish.
Yeah, I'll just make a really good choice.
Okay.
So it will impact me, but I don't know what it is.
One
today.
1 wish.
Absolutely.
1 wish.
Absolutely.
Are you going with 1?
I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna take my 3.
We're not promised tomorrow.
That's not true.
That's where it all came from.
Well, I'm gonna be here because my work is not finished yet.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be here in 10 years. I just believe that. So I'm gonna hold out on my 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold out on my 3 so I can do a little bit more.
Yeah, no, that's not happening for the kid. I think I'm gonna do mine
You gonna
today.
do yours today?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see because I was gonna ask what you guys would think. So
Yeah.
Brian says 3 wishes. So Brian is gonna wait 3 wishes.
Way to go,
for 10
Brian.
years. He's gonna wait. He's gonna wait.
Good answer. Good answer. Patience is
Zaida
virtue.
says today. Mo says today. Chandra says today. So everybody for the most part says
Most of us say
today.
today.
Cool. All right. So next one is. Let's see. Would you rather have internet access in your home or never have phone coverage when you're out and about?
Shit.
That's a good one. Here we go. Would you rather never have internet access in your home or never have phone coverage when you're out? For those of you guys who are watching, just put no internet or no coverage.
No internet.
No internet at home?
Yeah, I'll go to somebody else's. I need the coverage when I'm out. I'll use the car or to feel safe. Even if I could step outside and get on the internet, I go to my car for a little bit, but I don't need the coverage.
Get somebody else Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
I'm
still
gonna say
Wi-Fi.
since I've lived that life before with no internet at home, yeah, I'm gonna say I gotta have my coverage when I'm out and about. So yeah. I can do it.
The coverage.
Put in the VCR tapes.
Yeah.
My
VCR.
Did you say
VCR.
I don't know. Like
VCR
a
DVDs.
lot of what I do is at home. Even working. So I mean, if I had to pick one, it would probably be internet at home. Only because we went without both before.
Yeah.
But I would get me. Yeah. That's fine. Like
Yeah, you have to do that one.
no, I would still do internet at home because 9 times out of 10, if I go somewhere, I'm probably gonna be with somebody with the phone.
Okay.
And then if I don't go somewhere with somebody with the phone, I'm literally going right around the corner and I'm coming back. And I like to detach. Like I'm one of those people who like to detach. So
Sometimes it's good.
it really doesn't bother me. Like if I left my cell phone at home, I literally have to think about going back and getting it.
Right.
Like I have to be like, how long am I gonna be out? Like do I really need my cell phone?
Do I have to have it right?
So yeah, that's
That
what I
makes
would do.
sense. What did everybody else in here say?
No internet.
Let's see. Yeah, that's
No
it.
internet.
Chandra said no internet. Moni, no internet. DeMarcus, no net. Zaida said no coverage. Endurable Light said no internet. Adrian said no internet. Zaid said I always leave my phone at home anyway. I have an Apple Watch. Oh, okay, you smart.
Just did it.
You go.
You got it.
You gonna bring your watch instead.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, last question, guys. Be able to control your dreams or be able to control your destiny? Be able to control your dreams or be able to control your destiny?
What you say?
I'm gonna say this.
I'm gonna say my dreams. I'm gonna leave that plan up to God. You know, I don't wanna. I feel like my destiny is already wrote out. I don't know what it is, so I'm just gonna say my dreams and let Him do His work and not try to make my will His. So
I would like a say, or to at least manipulate it to something awesome. Which I mean, it might be bad anyway, but yeah.
it's awesome now. Look at you, girl.
I'm gonna leave my dreams with you. I'll be
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with destiny on this one too.
Okay.
Only because I sleep real hard. So I hardly dream. And I'm
Really?
okay with that.
I dream a lot.
I don't. I hardly dream. And when I do, I'm kind of they say dreams have meanings. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, I don't have time to figure out what they mean. I don't try to rack my brain. And then you mess yourself up if you look on the internet trying to figure out what dreaming about snakes mean.
I have several dream interpreting books.
Yeah,
I like to interpret dreams.
Don't do it
I
to
will let
yourself.
them
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It doesn't mean anything bad though. It's not supposed to mean anything bad.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with destiny. Adrian says destiny. Zaida says destiny. Tate says destiny. My aunt Adrian, hello, beautiful. She says,
hey, girl.
She says destiny. Chandra says your dream. She agrees with Lysandra. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's the end of our either or segment, guys. Thank y'all for participating. Y'all are awesome.
Thank y'all.
Y'all are amazing people. Now we're gonna get down to the meat and potatoes. I'm gonna let Lysandra go ahead and introduce this segment for us.
All right, so tonight we are talking about the archetypes and stereotypes of the Black woman and their impact on how they are viewed in relationships and society. So that's a big mouthful right there. So as we discuss this and how they impact religious society, I'm just going to give just a little brief overview about it. So these stereotypes and archetypes date back to the 1700s and probably further in history. Yet we want to focus on how they have impacted Black women in the present day. The portrayal of Black women as lascivious by nature is an enduring stereotype. The descriptive words associated with this stereotype are singular in their focus: seductive, alluring, worldly, beguiling, tempting, and lewd. Historically, white women have been portrayed as models of self-respect, self-control, and modesty, even being sexually pure. But Black women were often portrayed as innately promiscuous and even predatory. So out of these descriptive words were birthed some archetypes that have left Black women struggling to claim their true identity and build positive images of themselves in family relationships, career, and even in society. So here are the few definitions. We had these posted a couple days ago, so I'm going to go over these really briefly as we go into the topics. Okay. So the mammy, the archetype of the portly, asexual, and fierce caretaker brought to life in Gone with the Wind. Y'all remember Mammy from Gone with the Wind? It was reinforced the absurdity that Black women will bear any burden, not because they have to, but because they live to. The anti-Blackness intrinsic to the Mammy character has defined expectations for how Black women should relate to families, partners, churches, and employer giving and never taking. Next, we got the Sapphire. Real white women in the antebellum era were thought delicate damsels. Black women who worked alongside men were something harder. By the mid-20th century, the hard Black woman was angry and fussing, emasculating wife on Amos and Andy. That became the avatar for the Black woman. So no matter how genial or decorous a Black woman is, she's suspected of being a rampaging harridan or just somebody that's always raising hell. So just ask Michelle Obama or Hollywood hitmaker Shonda Rhimes, who was called an angry Black woman by the New York Times. So next we got the Jezebel. The myth of voracious sexuality helped the antebellum society excuse the routine sexual exploitation of enslaved Black women. The persistence of this belief makes black women more vulnerable to sexual assault, but less likely to be believed when they are violated. Fear of Jezebel also often causes black women to deny human sexual urges to prove propaganda about them wrong. Next, we got the matriarch, which is the greatest threat to the black community is the woman-headed household. The 1965 Moynihan report released by the U.S. Department of Labor said so. Questioning we believe in that the assessment means single black mothers and their children are demonized, and low black marriage rates can be used as a crutch against black women, even though America as a whole is marrying less. So those are some of the ones we're going to delve into today, and some of the topics. We'll kind of build some subtopics off of those. If you all have any that you all want to talk about, please post up about those as we go through some of those stereotypes that plague black women in society.
So first question to you guys is, help us name from your perspective, because what we want to do, and again, thank you guys all for watching.
Thank you.
What we want to do is we want to try to figure out, she listed 4 of the different classifications that widely are used as far as stereotypes. What do you feel are some more stereotypes? What do you have, Dominique? Do you have any more that you feel like is a stereotype besides these 4? Because I think any other one would fit into the main ones.
Yeah, I think to say most stereotypes that you hear about black women would fit into one of these or multiple kind of viewpoints. You have the hood chicks, the ghetto girls. Then even though it's not always viewed as a bad stereotype, you have the bougie type.
Yep.
So I think that any other stereotypes kind of will fit into one of these, and so I think they cross over as well.
Yeah,
but definitely hood chicks, and then you have the opposite of that, which is the bougie types as well.
Shakir, what's some of the stereotypes, especially from, and again guys, welcome Shakir, he is representing the men tonight.
Not all y'all, but some of y'all.
Appreciate you for being here. What do you feel like are some of the stereotypes that you hear or that you feel like are represented by the black woman?
Well, let's just start, from where I'm from. There weren't many, so I didn't really have too many different examples. Some women were more adhesive to the white community. I don't want to call them Uncle Tom type deal,
right?
But that's pretty much what I saw growing up. But now that I've been outside of the country and into more diversity and things like that, there's just all types, and like you said, they just fit into all the categories. She pretty much touched them all. I can't really think of anything.
It's a lot of them. What I'm saying, out there. Wikipedia has some. Right. Wikipedia. Yeah. So you have the watermelon stereotype. The welfare queen.
Yes, you do.
You have the, of course, the angry black woman. You have the black bitch.
Yeah.
That is definitely one.
Yeah, we big for using that. Some women are like, bitch, girl, yes. Bitch, yeah. We use it as a way to relate to each other, but it's so negative.
Yep. So and even guys, this is like alarming to me that even Wikipedia has sought out definitions. You got the savage. Again, you got the Uncle Tom, like Shakir was saying. There's a lot of different,
a lot of things which I used to kind of look up called tropes, like TV tropes, and so you'll find all the stereotypes within tropes. One of the big one is called the magical black Negro or Negress.
Yeah, that's what they have.
That's a trope as well. There's the token black.
Yeah.
That's a trope or a stereotype. So it's all kind of, and it's still most of the time they fit into one of those types.
I agree. So, what do y'all feel, or where do y'all feel like these stereotypes come from? Because here's the thing. I understand, after Lasandra's description, that these, date back to 1700. You know what I'm saying? So, these can be as early as back then. However, when you're in your own culture, you know exactly who you are for the most part. You know what I'm saying? You understand the struggle of each individual person. So, or not each individual, but each class and how we get along and how we do what we do. So my question is the stereotypes, do they come from outside within, or have we created our own stereotypes within the community as well?
I would think within. I would think within. The reason why I say that is because sometimes it's generational. When I say generational, let's just say ghetto, hood. I know a lot of moms that act like their moms and their daughters act like their moms and so forth, and so it's just like it's almost as they see that this is the way that we're supposed to act in society, and it's not always hood or ghetto,
right?
You know, it could be the bougie, it could be, you know, the Uncle Tom, you know, whatever it may be, whatever category that may be,
right?
But I just think that we give our women give themselves a name on top of what society's given us too, you know, so it's almost like you're getting, you know, the double stereotype, you know, so to speak, and I don't know, I think it's something that we bring on ourselves, and a lot of that, to me, and which was questioned in college, is hip-hop, in the music industry, our own stereotypes and our own words and things that we put on our own women, and then society portrays us as that too when they don't see any kind of positivity or anything like that, so it goes both ways.
What you got, Dominique?
I think it's really both. I think that a lot of stereotypes are just a really simplified version of who we are. I think a lot of times it's human nature,
right?
And I think the stereotypes are just really pared down nature and nurture type of personality types, and it removes the subtle nuances that are included in a person's personality.
Right.
So you see the hood chick.
Right.
Everybody knows the hood chick, but why is she like? We just say, oh, she's hood as hell. But we remove the fact that maybe there's a reason, and like you said, generation, and there's a whole reason behind why she acts the way she acts. We don't have time to always break down and debunk why she is the way she is. We just know that this is a stereotype, and I think, like I said, so that's some of it is us,
right.
Some of it is people's ideas. If you're going back to the 1700s, you're going to slave masters as far as from the men, the Jezebel.
Right.
These stereotypes justified why people could treat us the way they treated us.
Right.
So if you dehumanize someone and you say, oh, she's a Jezebel, she wanted it, that means I can go and rape her.
Right.
That means she wanted it. So reading the book, it talked about Sarah J. Bart, Venus Hottentot, and how they, you know, her genitals, and it, you know, they examined her butt and her genitals, and that gave them cause to dehumanize her. It's like, she's different. We can just remove and strip humanity from her, and it justifies. So I think when you go to the Jezebel and the Mammy, it's just like, oh, okay, now I can just treat you any kind of way because this is the pared down version.
Right.
And so I think that, and then years and years and years of all that, you start believing it. If you tell somebody that you are this for so long, people start to believe it. And they start to live in that and walk in it. That becomes their truth.
I agree. So I'm going to read Chandra's. She says, like with most things in our community, it was fed to us to break us down as a people. And once the people were broken, we continued to operate as such. Definitely. Zaida says, we were called highly sexual, but now it's said that we're not as advanced sexually as white women. Figure that. So, and then she definitely agreed with your Zaida definitely agreed with your point. And then Lovey says cognitive dissonance. So definitely that. What you got, Lysandra, as far as your questions or how we're going to move into this thing?
Okay. Well, I just want to, piggyback off of that just a little bit. I believe it is some of that, but I also believe now in the modern day, it's a means of survival, whether it's economically, whether it's socially, whether it's financially. Now we use those same things that we use to humanize us also as a way for survival. A lot of times you see black women playing into the sexuality, to being increasingly sexualized as a way to get ahead. And a lot of times to get certain roles in Hollywood, to be in front of the camera, they overcompensate, with their sexuality. And a lot of times we play into the other ones as well, just because it's easier to make it. And we've lost our identity in a lot of ways because we've got wrapped up in those and we use them as a way to to survive. But how do we move ahead? I believe it's now. Yes, history fed this to us, but we don't have to keep eating what's made us fat for so long, as just as a phrase. We don't have to keep doing that, and I think we have to do that now with our own selves, because a lot of times in a lot of different areas where you hear us being humanized, or people calling us bitches, calling us hoes, or us going out and playing into those things where we see that we know they're gonna make us look sexual. Even when we're out and we're in the club, we do it. We don't really think anything about it. When we go and we do certain things, we just think of it as being normal. It's a part of living and expressing ourselves. But at the same time we're expressing ourselves, someone else is exploiting us based off of us just expressing ourselves. Our ways of expression are continuing to be used against us to exploit us. And so we have to find a way where people can look beyond that, and that we are transparent beyond just those things that people tend to look at, to not seem so one-dimensional.
We have to be careful too, because sometimes who we are just as people and how we just want to live and how we just want to be, a lot of times somebody will try to categorize us in a stereotype, and you have to be knowledgeable and self-aware. That's the first thing. You have to be self-aware to know that, how I am and who I am, I'm fine with just being. Like, I wanted to dress like this because I wanted to dress like this. I understand that there's a negative connotation, on the way this particular is perceived in society. However, when you own the fact that you are who you are, but you happen to just fit into what society says, when something or somebody arises or comes at you, that's the time that you take to correct.
Right.
And I think we really don't do well at that. That's the time you say, wait a minute. I'm educated, I have ABC, XYZ, and this is who I am, and I want to dress like this because I want to dress like this, and this is no pun intended to anything, any kind of stereotype. I'm not trying to play into it at all. This is just simply who I am.
Right.
Quit allowing people to put their own perceptions on you based off of what they think, because they've been conditioned to think that.
Right. And I saw that I watched the episode of She's Gotta Have It. I'm like way behind, but on one of the episodes, she wore a little black dress. It was really fitted, and very revealing. And so she went out on dates with these guys, and each one of them, even though, she looked good in it, she just wanted to wear it for herself and to show her confidence. She was viewed as being a sexual commodity. It was like, they just couldn't wait to get her out of the dress, even though she just wanted to wear it to make a point, and
you have to be careful there, though. Like, there's a very fine line, because when we put ourselves in situations where if you willingly know what kind of attention that you're going to draw, if you know that, you know what I'm saying, understand that you still should be respected, because maybe you wanted to wear it just because you wanted to wear it, which is fine. But you have to be knowledgeable of the matrix, in a sense, of knowing that you're going to be perceived a certain way. Your confidence should definitely say, I really don't give a fuck what you think or what you say.
You have to be ready.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to be prepared. You just have to be prepared for this is what it is, and ready to practice your apologetics. Meaning you can defend who you are against anyone and anything. And I just wanted to say really quick about these archetypes is that I think part of it is owning it and knowing that although we look into the negative aspect of this, all of these are very necessary in our community.
I agree.
Mammy,
I agree.
The caretaker of the home, the nurturer, I hate the term, but she was necessary. She was vital for not only she took care of the plantation and everything, she took care of her family.
So let's break this down, and we'll go ahead and let you start that. We'll start with the mammy.
She first of all, she gave of herself, her own milk when she couldn't feed her own kids. She gave, and it's that selflessness that I think sometimes resurfaces in us. Now, mind you, it's not always a good thing, but that selfless, that cape.
Right.
That's the original cape. That's Mammy right there.
Right.
And I think we can't. I can't totally be like X Mammy out without realizing that she was integral in the community. taking care of everybody, because after she enslaved all day for some other white man's family, she
Right.
was enslaved for her own.
Right.
Selfless. And that shows itself with so many black mothers who are so selfless.
I agree.
Now, I mean, is it a good thing that she had to? She had to give to herself. I'm pretty sure if she didn't have to be a milk,
Right,
a
right.
bottle,
Right.
it might not have been an option to her. But I know that that's something that resurfaces over. That's a part of us that it resurfaces. It's in us. All of these ideas are in us, whether we want to admit to it. But that selflessness, that cape, is there. As far as, like I said, Sapphire, angry. Sometimes we have a right to be angry. Our anger is sometimes justified. I have a right to be angry. I have a right to be like, I'm not feeling this.
Right.
And that's Sapphire.
So let's go back to the man. We're gonna
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
So Shakir,
These.
so the manly, it says the archetype of the portly. So they already done made a big mama.
That's it. That's big mama.
They already done made a big mama. Portly, called a portly. All right. Asexual and fierce caretaker, brought to life and gone to the wind. So again, what I think that reference is important in regards to them saying was brought to life by Gone in the Wind, because a lot of times movies and television has connected us to the world.
Right.
You know, so what that does is it's actually giving everybody the opportunity to say, oh my God, I've never seen a person that looks like this before. And then what they do is they immediately identify that. So every time they see somebody that looks close to what they saw on television, they automatically puts them in that state. Oh, you must be like the portly woman from Gone in the Wind. All right. So the manly reinforced the absurdity that black women will bear any burden, not because they have to, but because they live to.
Any.
Shakir, you have an amazing mom that you love, that's been the rock for your family. That's definitely being what they like to call, we'll move to the matriarch in a minute, but she's definitely being, that to you, a nurturer, the person that has went without.
Absolutely.
The what they call the person that gives but doesn't really know how to take.
Right.
So when you see a stereotype like this, and literally this is just a black woman doing what she had to do to make it, just like any human being would do in this situation when they just doing what they had to do. How do you feel about how the world characterizes Big Mama?
Big Mama, that's right.
That's who she is.
Big Mammy. Big Mama now.
Mama.
Well, I don't think the world appreciates her enough, especially our own. We can take it for granted sometimes.
Yes.
I know I was raised, me and my sister, by a single mom. Neither of our dads were there. My mom always says 13 bills, 2 kids, all by herself. And like you said, she went many days without. And as a black man, when I saw my mom, it made me appreciate this particular black woman more than anything.
Yeah.
And then, once you get older in life, you want to have that kind of woman in your life, once you go on, marry and so forth. But I just don't, going back, I just don't really think she's appreciated enough for what she really does and what she really brings to the family and society by itself.
Because she's a nurturer of society.
Yeah. She's going to go hard at work. She's going to make sure that she got everything for her kids and her family, and then, come home and do twice as much. Got to get kids ready, for school, got to do homework, you got to do, get her needs together. So, she really gives so much of herself, and, she needs to be appreciated.
I agree. I'm going to go ahead and let Lysandra go on this one, because I'm going to say something in regards to the black man in relation to the mammy. Go ahead.
Well, for me, like I said, I'm going to play devil's advocate with a lot of these. But the thing that got me is that when it reinforced the absurdity that black men will bear any burden. And when I think of that is absurd for that archetype to say for us that we're willing to take anything that society puts on us, anything that a man does to us, that we are not human enough to be appreciated, not to be respected, not to be given any appreciation at all for anything that we do. I think at that time and age where they had gone through it and Mammy was there, we're not that woman anymore. I think she's that Mammy, that type of Mammy has that connotation of what they put with it has died off, because they even expounded on it when you looked at, okay, families, partners, churches, and employers, and you see that sometimes with the older women where they continuously be quiet and they just take anything that comes their way and they put themselves last all the time when they shouldn't put themselves last. So to me, I don't like it. I think it's absurd for us to even now to even try to attach, you know, our family members, like our aunts, our grandmothers, our mothers, to even that type of female. Because now we recognize the importance of appreciating the person that we have, respecting the person that we have that's there for us in a lot more ways. And there are, I'd say, a lot less women that play into the Mammy prototype nowadays than it was back then, where they just take on anything.
Mammy was the quintessential ride or die, which is this huge topic that we all have now. Ride or die. She was gonna ride till the wheels fall. Mammy would risk her own life in order to save her master's life. She would ride out for her children and for herself. Now, I'm not saying that it's a positive thing, but I'm saying we see that same, we want to ride or die. We want somebody to ride till the wheels fall off for us. And I see that in the Mammy stereotype.
Right.
Even now, that women are expected to bear the load. You're expected to build with someone.
Right.
Okay? You got to build ground floor up. That's that Mammy energy. I switch all these into energies.
But I ain't got to carry the bricks.
You don't got to carry the bricks, but that's it. She was a ride or die. She was that's that energy that is still floating around today.
But here's the thing about the biggest thing about the connotations with the stereotypes of the black women. It leaves and has always left the black man out, which is an essential part of who we are. Because here's the thing. Who decided or who decides to leave out, you know what I'm saying, the contributions of the black man? For example, the Mammy, she definitely was all these things in regards to what the stereotype says that she is.
To the white people.
Right. She was that to her community as well. You know, she was going to be the one that was always giving, always giving. However, people ask, where's the black man in this? Why did she have to be the one to be the person that give? Well, when you put somebody out in the field all day long and work them from sun up to sun down, what else could you ask? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was the one who went out to make sure that bloodline was going to be able to continue to flow. He was the one that went out to make sure that something was going to be able to be brought back in the house. Now, the Mammy was a caretaker, and as women, we're nurturers. To me, in regards to balance is concerned, that's one of the biggest parts that we were created for, to balance. You know, to balance our black man out. So the Mammy can't be underappreciated for who she is and what she contributes. But at the same time, we have to understand that the black man was also there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to honor that, because even in all of these stereotypes, like, I'm personally going to come from, where was the black man? You know, because that's going to be important for us to realize that he was there all along. Like, these stereotypes exist because a lot of times they want to create something where we stand alone.
Right. And during that time, I would say, whenever she was looked at as the Mammy, that was based on a time where, okay, slavery was really big and the black man was already stripped from the home.
Right.
She was brought up to be that type of individual for another family. She probably didn't even have a husband during that time. She might have been sold into slavery, from what we know of how they portrayed black people in film during that time. So they either were mammies, or they either were field workers, or they either were just people that were cooks and cleaners. So all of those stereotypes at that time when Mammy was in place, it was just part of who she was. black men weren't heard of, he wasn't there. You know, he wasn't there. He couldn't be there because at that time the family, they wanted it to look like this is a woman's job. The woman's job is to take care of us, to take care of our children, and her place is not. Her place is, and at that time, I think with Gone Women, when you see that woman doing that for other people, it's like it separated her from the family dynamic altogether. It separated her from her family and from her children, and said, you make a bigger sacrifice for somebody else's besides your own. And so that's what it seemed like it played into place to me, because you never seen or even heard during that time when they used the phrase mammy or saw black women during that time frame in movies, you never saw them with their families. You always seen them in the home with other people that were not their family, so they already sort of creating a dynamic of separation.
So here we go. We got Endurable Light. She says, but sometimes black women wear that concept of handling the burden. We sometimes enter a space of martyrdom. Martyrdom. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Martyrdom. Yeah. We sometimes enter that space. And I definitely agree with that. Because although it definitely is something to be proud of, it shouldn't be something that we put at the forefront to wear as a badge of honor to say, I don't need anybody. Because that is not what this means. Be proud that, you know what I'm saying, like it makes you be proud of the fact that you're a nurturer and that you're a caretaker and that, you know, you make sure that you add value to your family household. Of course, that's wonderful. But at the same time, don't wear it so much so that I don't need nobody.
Right.
Because that's, you know, a lot of times you're not even, you're pulling away from who you were intended to be as far as a woman, and bringing balance to yourself and to your household with, you know, having a man, and you're also damaging the next generation that's growing up behind you, and you're showing all of these young girls that. So
yeah, you become a sapphire, you become hard like a rock. You know, you a gem, but you so hard. You know, that's what you could.
Right. Moves down into that.
Zaida also says, you know, the mammy was what she was because, or the black man in protection to the mammy, she says, because she had to protect him too. You know, like her role was not to just protect her children and the people around her. It was for her to protect the black man as well. And I think a lot of times that gets lost as well because her heart and being who she is, like, you know, Shakira, you have a wonderful mother. Like, she had to protect you. And whatever that meant for her, by whatever tools and skills that she either God-given or, you know, was born in her, like, that's what she had to use. You know, I got to protect my babies.
Right. I mean, that's from different dimensions, whether it be, you know, spiritual, emotional, you know, physical, whatever it was. I mean, she had to be there, and yeah, I mean, I like I said, I was a witness of that myself. You know, I mean, she broke her back, and boy, I'm gonna get me teary eyed.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying? And we have to start talking about these dynamics because it's important for us to recognize what society would like to call and stereotype each and every one of these powerful queens that are in our life, but we need to be able to take our own power back.
And I think we have to remember that the stereotype is a characterization of
agreed.
that. It is going to be exacerbated 10 times to what we know to be true.
Right.
So if you know, she was wide, and, you know, mammy, of course, headscarf, wide-eyed, bucking around, sneaking around corners, it's really just blown out of proportion of who we were.
Right.
You know, and I think that's what, I think when we look at these, we have to remember that from the eyes of the person who was really playing into that, it's going to be way extra.
Right. I agree. So we're going to move. Zaida said even after slavery, in order for a black woman to get government assistance, she could not have the black men in the house. I mean, I guess I look at this and you're like, these are things, all these things are so true. But we know this.
Yeah.
Like that's the hurtful part for me. You know, we know this. And because we know this, like, it's almost like we consciously make a choice for the most part. It's like, I can't move into this home unless I'm without a man. However, I know I need one.
Yeah.
So it's like at that point, I'm going to make a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Either I am going to decide to do it on my own and get shelter because somebody's going to give it to me and I don't have to do the work. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to do the work on public assistance. You just be.
And for some women, it's survival. You know, you
Yes.
have black families who are going through hard times. The husband will separate from his wife and go there together, and she'll say she's separated just to get assistance.
He would sneak
Yeah.
through and go take the kids. Yeah, because he had
They
to
do it now.
survive. Yeah.
Survival is one thing.
Survival.
Survival is one thing, and I get that. But being in a
But
situation,
becoming dependent.
becoming dependable is something totally different. If you're going to survive and say, you know what, like I'm going to have to do what I want to do, because I'm a fan of if you got to play the system however you need to play the system, then fine. Like play it, but having to sacrifice and say, you know what, I'm going to do this for the greater good of my family, because for the next 3 months, I need to, I've come up with a plan and this needs to happen.
Right.
Then okay, cool. But when 3 months turns into 6 months, turn into 12 years,
It becomes a lifestyle.
But I think a lot of times they don't talk. They don't communicate with their family to let them know this is why I had to do this. A lot of times, a lot of the reasons why the mammy or why are because it's that Kate. They didn't talk about this is why your daddy's not home.
Right, yes.
And so what you do is you keep things secret. They go to the room and cry and struggle in silence, or they might have another man who they might go and vent to. And so the younger generations just see, this is what mom did. They don't understand. Once again, it erases the subtle nuances of why things are. Why is there not a black man? I just didn't see my dad in the home. But they don't talk about why he was not. Why? Okay, he couldn't. Why the man might have been like, okay, I was separated from the love of my life from my children. I'm out here in the street trying to survive, and I get caught up, or I get to move in with a woman who's not on assistance, and guess what? I have made another home.
Right.
Because oftentimes it has happened, but this is why, and I think that's why these stereotypes, it removes the why from it, and it's always a why.
I agree.
It is.
And that's how that generational goes, because a lot of times these older generations, they didn't talk.
I agree.
You find out years later.
After they dead and gone.
Years later, why this person felt the way, why they had to do this, and it's just like, I don't want anybody to know.
Yep. And this is before we segue into the next stereotype. This is why the conversation is here. Because this is creating an opportunity to bring awareness to these certain things, these certain truths that need to be brought out, that need to be exposed, so that we can, have a self-awareness in ourselves. Like, one thing about being able to change your perspective and change your perception is the fact that you're exposed to something new. And when you're never not exposed to it, you're going to continue to go through the same pattern over and over and over again. However, when you're exposed to something, they say if you know better, you do better. However, for me, if you know better, you got a choice. Like, that's what I like about it. Like, you got a choice. So the next one we have is the Sapphire. What's that one, Lysandra?
Well, basically it says the Sapphire, she's that lady, she's eye rolling, she's pointing a finger, she's got a hand on the hip, she's always upset with everybody. And so basically it says that the Sapphire is like the angry black woman who are popularized in cinema and on television. She's depicted as emasculating, one hand on the hip, like I said, pointing and jabbing. She's mainly depicted as channeling her anger at the black man, and she's considered bitter and wishing unhappiness on others, and she's always complaining. And so that's something I found also about
yes,
her,
very big in Hollywood.
And about what it says about the Sapphire, the woman. She's always doing that. But I think in a lot of ways, with us, we are we're not always. A lot of times, we are not always angry, about things. We might be frustrated. We might be stressed. We might just feel that we have no way out of a situation. And so it comes out. A lot of times we have so many things that's compacted on top of other things, and we never vent them. So when they do come out, or someone pushes our buttons or whatever, all this comes out, and everybody's looking like, oh, she's just an angry black woman. When they don't realize, okay, to survive, or to get to the next level, you don't have time to sulk. You don't have time to have a pity party. You got to stay strong. But the whole time you're staying strong, it's one thing after another, just compacting on top of each other.
So,
and it just comes out.
Shakir, what do you think about the angry black woman or the sapphire? Like, what is your take on that?
I've met a lot of women. The first word that comes to me is guarded. Has that wall, that shield up. Really not going to let you too far into her personal space. Yeah. She's not really going to share that much personal information with you. And as a black man, and like I said, through my own experience, I've always tried to wedge myself in to get inside of her head, to change her mind, change her mindset, or just to break that wall down that she has up. And I know a lot of people hate Tyler Perry movies, only because it just seems like a lot of black
another
women
stereotype
are, depicted as that angry black woman, and it's in all of his movies, and most of the movies, I ain't gonna say all of them, but that stereotype is just catchy, and it pushes black men off, a lot of times. Because we don't want to deal with it.
Right.
A lot of men don't want to deal with that. I ain't got time for that. What you won't do and what you won't communicate with me, this one will. And it might even transcend over into the white culture, going up to with the white girls or changing, who you date and so forth. And I just hate that. It's a stereotype that I've never really cared for. But at the same time, I've been very passionate about it at the same time, because I hate to see our women in that state.
Right.
So, question, because I'm gonna have this segment. I'm gonna have you two bounce back and forth with one another, but I definitely want to focus on you, Shakir, and all the black men that are watching currently, because this is one of the bigger of the complaints in the department, or the worries or concerns in the department, as far as frustrations that create discord between the man and woman. So, have you moved to try to understand what makes her angry?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
That's just part of, like I said, that's just part of just digging into, sit down and having that conversation. I like to change scenery, so to speak. I want to take you, if we're dating, or if I just want to get to know you, I want to take you to a place that you haven't been before, whether that be a nicer restaurant. I want to take you out on a date. I want to sit down, look in your eyes, take away all surrounding, any kind of distractions, so to speak, and just really try to get inside. It may not be the first date that I learn everything. It may not be the third. It might be the 50th, but I really try to, like I said, just really get inside your head to understand your past, your family, your kids, who you dated prior, what has you in this condition,
Right.
And I think a lot of men do want to know that, and you have to be willing just to pull that guard down just a little bit, just so you can, listen, or even, welcome that kind of conversation.
I'm going to address this quickly, and I want everybody to jump in right quick. Zaida, and I hate this. Zaida says, shoot, we have the right to be angry. No, you don't. In my opinion, like, your life as it creates right now is your life. Like, when you grow up, for me personally, like, where I am, I understand the struggle of the black woman. I do wholeheartedly. But I am my own woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand it, but I still am my own woman. Like, at some point, we got to forgive ourselves. We got to forgive, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever happened in that past, whatever happened, because we are who we are right now or today. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever somebody else done to us, however it is that they done it to us, like, I get it. Like, I understand that all of that happened. I understand that some people are even still oppressed as that today. Like, I do understand that. However, my story isn't that. You know what I'm saying? And so I can't say, you know what, I'm going to be angry for every black woman that has ever gone through this before. I have a right to be angry. Like, that kind of bothers me, only because if we continue to hold on to that anger, where are we going to get? Like, where are we going to get? Like, Like for me, it's like I've forgiven. You know what I'm saying? I move. I understand, and I'm not saying I don't forget.
Right.
But I've forgiven. You know what I'm saying? And I understand, hey, this was a part of history. This is something that may even still continue to happen. However, my part in this is if I'm able to expose my light, because if you're going to keep living angry, you're going to leave out light.
Right, exactly.
And nobody's going to be able to see that truth.
I think, in part, we do have a right to be angry. It's not to stay in it. I think our emotions is a spectrum. You're not going to... And so I think to be able to express that anger is important. To be able to have a tribe and a community that allows you to come in and to be angry and to be angry together and cry and vent and yell and bang your fist and be like, this is why we need that. That is needed, and sometimes we do not have it. I will say that it's easier for women than men sometimes in our circles to do so, but I think that it's important to see that anger, identify it, and then move on. But everybody does not have the mental capacity and bandwidth to do so. I think it takes a lot of community work to get past that, but some people just don't have the capacity to know how to express that.
Right.
And that's where the frustration comes in on both parts, is because we're like, I'm mad, I'm angry, but it's like a baby. It's like all I can do is cry and scream, but it's like, it's more to it.
It is more to it.
But it's very hard to sometimes to express it, and so that's why I understand it, because everybody just doesn't have that bandwidth to be like, I can express this differently. I can write it out. I can pray it out. I can meditate it out. I can get together with a group of people and work this together. And sometimes we just don't have that. But I understand why. And then with the anger thing, sometimes it pisses me off, because what about the other Latino women get angry? Asian women get. I seen an Asian woman the other day smack the shit out of her man, and I was like, "Whoa, okay." And they get angry. White women get angry.
Everybody gets angry.
But we have that still. Do you watch Snaps?
Yes.
Baby, they pop off, and
Yes.
95% of the women on there are white women. But I think that's where the character comes in, because our anger is just like blown up, or been our passion. I can be talking loud. Matter of fact, after Black Panther, I had on a shirt. My mom had a shirt. We were in Walmart. Me and this other sister, she had on a shirt. She said, I said, oh snap. We in there, we talking. Yes, okay. We having a whole Black fest in Walmart. This white guy walks by us and he said, hey, now keep it down. No need to argue. You know, get your ass up out of here. We're angry, and now I'm like, he automatically thought our love fest, our sister,
right.
And it's just like, you immediately jump to anger. Why and it's just that stereotype, and we can't just be passionate.
But you know what? Even in that example, like, I feel like what happens is when you don't address it,
right,
you hold on to it.
You don't know how to address it.
But that's the thing. Like, I even understand that to an extent. But at the same time, like, closed mouths do a lot more damage than they do good. Sometimes, even if you don't know how to get it out, like, there needs to be some type of outlet, some type of way, because even if somebody turns to hitting somebody, at some point, you're going to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? And somebody's going to tell you, don't do this.
Right.
If you do this is going to happen to you. Like, I understand you mad, but you can't continue to do this.
Right.
However, like, when you're in a situation like that, where you're just like, you're having fun and you're out and somebody tries to come at you and put a stereotype on you, like, a lot of times when we don't say anything, like, when our mouths are closed, we harvest that.
Right. And they're used to seeing
and
sometimes
like, hold on, sir. But
Yeah.
I also feel like when I'm talking about the anger, I think that sometimes, once again, it's just a lot of it is misguided and a lack of knowledge and generational. When I think of a lot of the sapphire energy, I think of the hood chicks. I think of the characters and all of these YouTube and Instagram and Snap type of characters of hood girls who I think of TT with the constant scowl on her face,
right,
or his face, or whatever. And I think that a lot of times it's just a lack of being able to express themselves in a misunderstanding and a lack of knowledge and education. Once again, sometimes people just, they ain't able. They don't know. They can't do it. And I think sometimes that's where someone with a passion for people
definitely
comes in. That's where the community has to come in.
Definitely.
Because a lot of times these girls, they or anybody, they just had this energy, this
especially
like frenetic energy, like and they just don't know how to release it. They literally do not have the mental capacity, and I hate to sound bad, but some people they just don't. I know a lot of girls growing up who just were like that. They just were always that rah-rah chick. They just wanted to get it. And they had so many other issues at home. They had so many other things in their life that caused them to be angry. And I think what it is you have to want to not be angry.
Yes.
And you have to know how to filter that, but everybody just can't do it. And then you have to understand, like the whole Michelle Obama, you can be the most educated, well-to-do woman, and somebody will still be like,
just based on how,
based on what you say or how you say it, or if you're not smiling when you say it, when you're not mammy, when you're not mammy. If you're not being mammy, then you're angry.
Right.
But if you're not a soft shoeing and being taking, when you like take, then you're angry.
Yeah. I will say real quick, like whenever Shakir's talking about, he's not really a big fan of Tyler Perry. I'm not either, but I will say when Tyler Perry did some of the films where he talked about like the Diary of the Mad Black Woman, when he talked about different times where you saw the black woman portrayed as angry. He did at least take time to delve into the reasons behind where the anger came from. With the lady, with her husband, he delved into what she had went through, how she had continued to put herself on the back burner, but he still went and did things and disrespected her and treated her any kind of way. Right. And then whenever she played the other lady that shot, well, that was the same one, but just the different ones in there. With the other girl, she was molested, the other one, she was beat. So all those times, he did take time to unravel why some of those women, where those stereotypes come from, or why we saw him pick a certain character and portray them in a certain light. But he took time to show what was behind it. I think a lot of us could identify what was behind it versus who the character actually was. But then we could see little bits and pieces of ourselves sometimes in some of those people that he did talk about. Even with Waiting to Exhale, we saw different types of women playing out different characteristics of these same ones right here. Each one of those women in that movie played out one of these characteristics.
We can't leave out mental illness and how depression and other illnesses affect you and make you angry as well. That's a stigma. I don't think we had talked about it before. Mental health and wellness in the black community, and sometimes that exhibits as anger as well. Right. I also think that a lot of times that generation, that's why it's so important to try to break those generational curses and to see and to recognize it. My mom was angry, my grandmother was angry, and they had just and I think. It takes to do the work. It's a you have to do the work, and sometimes you don't want to do the work, or you can't do the work, or you're not ready to do the work. Sometimes you're not ready to do it.
Also, a lot of times too is that we aren't given the term mental illness. That's not allowed by society. We're angry. That's just it. We acted out of anger. We see the shootings on the streets and things like that. I mean, there's already this perception that even men are angry.
Right. Our black men are angry and aggressive.
Cop killings and things like that. Guys said he feared for his life and the dude hadn't even moved yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, it's like we're not given that term mental illness, but yet here we are the other day with this dude shooting up the game Madden game thing. He's already been classified as mentally ill. You know what I mean? How do you know he wasn't an angry white dude? You know how? I mean, evidently he was angry enough. He lost and he went and killed two people, 4 people, however many. So and then also too, we in the black community aren't given the resources to even combat that quote unquote mental illness or that anger. And like you said, we bottle that up and we hold it in for so long to where you know, like I said, there's never no light to come in. It's always dark. And you're always angry.
But you know what? One of the biggest things that I'm a little heartbroken about is our lack of ability to be able to give back. Because I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I have a lot of friends who've made it or who've leveled up in life, and you know, decided to break generational curses and decided to, you know, do that. Now, do they? Of course, they still have their own battles. Of course, they still have their own things going on. However, they broke a lot of those curses. They broke through a lot of those barriers. They're not in the hood no more. They're living how they want to live. They got away from those things. However, we don't do a good job of investing back in our own communities.
Yeah, and
like when we leave the hood, we leave the hood. We ain't going back. We ain't, you know, we're not coming.
Because the hood has a negative connotation.
Because there's a lot of anger, and it's hard to go back and talk to somebody who is combative, but you got to keep on.
Yeah, like, you
the
have
pastor don't always do it.
Yes.
The pastor don't always do it.
That's it.
I mean, a lot of times I can remember just growing up that was my resource outside of my family. Go talk to the pastor, go talk to the church, you know, go talk to the elder about it. They're not really going to give it to me how I need it.
In a way, because sometimes it takes sometimes you got to throw some expletives in there.
Right.
And sometimes you might want to say, you might be like, fuck everything.
And
and you can't say that to them.
Right.
You might, and
you might say it a couple times.
Yeah, but sometimes that might be how you feel. And it's very hard to do that. And sometimes even your parents be like, what you angry for? The same reason why you angry.
Right.
But you can't, of course you can't say that. Because you might
but
be
I said we do have to quit saying generational curse and recognize generational causes of why we're angry. They're not curses.
You
know, there's a cause and effect. So when we recognize, okay, there's a cause why my generation, why my family's acting this way, and then maybe we can realize the effect it's had on us. And you can change a cause different than you can a curse. When you hear a curse, you feel like you're plagued with it. But when it's a cause, okay, you know something that you can change and that you can counteract. You can do something about it.
Yeah, and it's a book by Dr. Joy DeGruy called Post-Traumatic Slave Disorder. Which I think that is definitely what we should. I mean, when you talk about things, how it manifests over and over, and how and why things that happened hundreds of years ago still affects us because it's in the DNA, because we suffer from PTSD.
So maybe
we're not in the war. Maybe we're in the war zone of our own community sometimes, and we get inundated with these images. And that's what happens is we watch these videos time and time again. We watch these stereotypes, and subconsciously we act them out. I can't tell you how many people mirror their lives off of some of these people who are making the character of black women.
So we have Alicia. Alicia says it has been scientifically proven that mental illness issues manifest differently in African American women and men. Many of our men are suffering from PTSD due to environment. Damien Dash says, in our community, the only emotions that we can exhibit is anger or happiness. We too deal with fear, worry, grief, loss, etc.
Right, exactly.
I definitely agree with those two. We do. Again, however, it's very, very, very important for those of us who understand these things. We have to go back in our communities. And I don't the thing is, y'all, I don't care if it's one time. Yeah. Because if you the person that's going back one time, first of all, you got all these people that's looking at you. You made it to them. You made it, so they're thirsty to want to know, man, how are you doing this? How does it? And don't go back, be relatable. Right. Act like you still you from there. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to put. It's okay to go back in the Benz. It's okay to go back in the suit. You know what I'm saying? But that don't make you better than, and you're gonna have to be able to humble yourself to know. You know what? It's not that I have to speak, like them or feel like I'm reducing myself. However, like she says, I have to make myself relevant. Right. Just like we code switch everywhere else. We got the code switch where it counts, for our people. So that's definitely good.
Go back and be the change that you have. Go back and be the change that you see in you. Go back and be that change. Don't go back and talk about it. Go back and talk about what's happened to you and how you got where you are. I mean, I'm a big believer in sharing testimony. Share your testimony. There's someone to hear, it's going to be okay. Tell them, sometimes it's for them to say, you know what, you're not okay how you are, And let me tell you how I've dealt with this and some of the things I went through when I was feeling the way that you're feeling, and how, you know, and I can sympathize with how you're feeling. But you know, you got to go back and be the change that you are in somebody else, or the change you want to see in somebody else.
Definitely. So we're gonna move to the next one. The Jezebel. This is the myth of the voracious. Is that how you say
Voracious.
That? Voracious sexuality helped antebellum societies excuse the routine sexual exploitation of enslaved black women.
And that's
the
not a myth.
persistence of this belief makes black women more vulnerable to sexual assault, but less likely to be believed when they are violated. Fear of Jezebel often causes black women to deny human sexual urges to prove propaganda wrong about them.
Well,
so yeah. Oh, Jezebel.
yeah, we
I immediately
you don't really hear that anymore. But a lot of times when we think of Jezebel, we think of the lady in the Bible. We think about her and how she was considered. She married a king, and she had people slaughtered by who she was. And also, you know, we just think of that as a negative connotation of a person. But before the Jezebel even came into play, you know, during the slavery times and even during political arenas, a lot of people, they played on the black women for political reasons, just to be able to get the votes. They used that to get the black vote a lot of times by over-sexualizing the women. It was a way to get other people to pay attention to it because we were used to it. And now the way we see it at the most, I would say, is the music industry, and of course in the hip hop industry. Mm-hmm. We definitely see it in the hip hop industry all the time, where, you know, you got to be a bad bitch. You know, if you ain't twerking, you know, you ain't doing nothing right on the video. Everything has to be like, you know, everything is thought that way, and so it makes certain people in society of different cultures and different races look at us and they expect us to act that way. They even respond the same way if we're out. You can be dressed in a suit or something, but the first thing a white lady or a white man thinks when he sees you is he sees this sexualized person that's been on television.
Right.
You know, he don't even see that. All he sees is something forbidden fruit. You know, a strange fruit.
First things first, it says myth. Like, we need to be able to understand that. Like,
yeah. To me, it ain't a myth.
Well, I think that black bodies have always been a commodity. We know that.
Right. It has always been.
And so, sex just heightens that. It just continues to sell. And I think that when you sexualize or hypersexualize somebody, it allows them to remove your humanity. She was asking for it. You can be dressed head to toe covered, and somebody will take it if you're like, well, she was asking for it. And I think that with the stereotype, that a lot of times that it allows people to dehumanize you. It takes away any of your just, I don't know, your sensibility, your morality. She wanted it. I'm gonna take it.
Right.
And I can take it because guess what? She put it out there. And I think that black women sometimes are not allowed to be sexual beings. And I think that just sucks totally, because anytime you talk about sex or you want to be sexy, then it's like taken to the highest of heights. It's like, okay, maybe I don't want nobody to take it from me, but maybe I just like what we talked about. I just want to be like this. I'm free like this. And you can't do that because respectability politics, which if you in the book The Sisters Are Alright by Tamara Winfrey Harris talks about that a lot, about respectability politics, where people felt like they had to act. I gotta act like this because, oh my gosh, I don't want the white people to judge me. I don't want the people to judge me. But it's like, fuck it, this is me.
Well, at first, you know, we walked around, we didn't have nothing on. We had, you know, back then, you know, in slavery times, titties hanging, but everything was unleashed for the man. But now, as we move forward, you know, years later, you know, and whenever the woman does do it a little bit, you know, the black man does suffer, because now women, they some of them suppress their sexuality because they don't want to be looked at or kind of as a whore or a freak or hoe, all those negative connotations that come with it.
So
What you think, Shaq?
what is your thoughts on that?
They pretty much covered it all. I mean, it's unfortunate that you can't express your sexuality. I mean, even if you do express sexuality, like I said, it's sort of over the top. But it's just the I hate it, like Instagram, social media. Social media has brought so many of these girls out, you know, and I'm guilty. I like the little Instagram thoughts. I'm gonna say thoughts. I'm gonna say it because that's automatically what they're labeled. When they're in the little booty shorts, or when they're in the cat suits, or whatever it may be.
And they working.
You know, yeah, they shaked up. You know, what I mean, they getting the implants and the shots and all that stuff. I mean, it looks good, but at the same time, it's not the light that you should want to be.
You don't want to live in that.
You know what I mean? You should want to have some kind of.
The internet makes, but you know what? The internet makes that hard.
Man,
like, I'm gonna tell you that right now.
It's almost like it's
the
contagious.
internet makes the Jezebel hard because they operate in this stereotype online. Like, they operate in it. They operate in the fact that, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong. If I want to wear, you know, the little shorts or revealing clothing because I want to wear it, then that's perfectly fine. However, the attention that you're drawing from that, if you're going to look like sex, you know, and again, like, when you expose and try to accent certain parts of your body to make it more appealing, you know, for it ain't for, I don't think it's just for yourself. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you making it appealing for an audience. Right. You know, it's hard for somebody to say, respectfully, I can say, you know what, you look really nice. You know, that what you have on sexually makes me heightened. You know, like, that's a nice heightened. That's a nice way of putting it. But then you got the same dude who not so versed in vocabulary to say, damn, like, you look good as fuck in what you got on. Can somebody tell me what the difference is?
It really is.
Like that's a hard one for me. Like, what are your thoughts, Dominique? Like, what's the difference there? Like because this Jezebel movement thing is really, really hard, because although I'm a fan, like, you should celebrate your sexuality, and I will check somebody in a minute to say, wait a minute, no, like, I don't know where you think that this is coming from, but who I am is who I am. Like, exactly. However, if they perceive that because of their, you know, perception from what's going on online nowadays to these girls, how do you feel like that?
The main thing is consent culture.
Yeah, very much so. Consent culture.
So the thing of it is and to be prepared. Freedom to do what you want to do to express yourself as sexy as you want to, but the thing is to just to prepare yourself to know how to defend yourself, to defend your actions, to know why are you doing this? That's the why. Are you selling sex? Because sometimes it's literally pro ho. Like, I'm doing this because I'm trying to catch me some dollars. Right. That we have to recognize the one who is catching the dollars and the woman who is just sexually liberated. Right. And I think that's the thing. And if you are practicing consent, you will figure out the two. I agree. You will, the way you come at her and the way she responds back. Because people will try you. I've had people slide in my DMs on some real trash stuff, and I don't post any hypersexual pictures at all. Most of my
is that a perception though? But this hypersexual
I think there's some things that really kind of like spell it over. You know, I'm not butt on the counter, half naked type of deal. Some people will try you no matter what. Right. And then they will try, and then you got to hold up. That's not how I go. That's not how it goes. Or if it was, then guess what? Then that's where that consent comes in. That's how you know the next conversation and how that needs to be.
So Damien Dash says the black woman personifies sexy, and it's beautiful to me. And they want to utilize the aura to be a negative thing. However, at the same time, they want to mimic it.
That's true.
Sexuality is a part of being a woman.
And that's true. And they talked, like in the book, they talked about the differences between our body, which we know from the myth as over sexualized, like Serena.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Serena? Yes, Serena. And her cat suits or her body suits, or people always talk about that's too sexy for tennis. Well, it's her body. Like our body, you can literally be doing nothing, and your body is sex. And then there's always a difference. Like the book talked about Madonna, and how some of her lewd acts and some of her costuming and things like that.
Yeah.
No, barely
She was trying to personify people.
But then you have let a black woman do it, and she a hoe. She giving it up. She doing this, that, third, and it's just always that disparity. You just better do you,
right,
and know how to navigate and be prepared to defend yourself. And to make sure, as a man, that you can see
what you got,
Shaq? You get that yes.
It's just that we, as our women, have so much. When I say so much, I'm talking about, we got the big hips, we got the the nice size breasts.
Yeah, we stacked now. We stacked. We bad.
Yeah, we're nice.
We bad.
I mean, and you look at, I give you an example like a Hardee's commercial, where the white chick has the little tie blouse, boobs out. Little Daisy Duke, she's eating a sandwich and the sauce just drips off her mouth.
Right. What the heck?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
She ain't even a thick burger.
Speaking of NASCAR,
I'm sorry.
Speaking of NASCAR, I noticed last year Monster Energy took over the series, the main sponsor. There was, I want to say, 4 or 5 white girls and 1 sister. The only one that got the negative attention was the sister. I mean, she was stacked. I mean, she was nice. I mean, naturally.
She was a monster.
Just fine.
Yeah, for real.
She was right. But the comments that I read on the post were that, she's bringing a bad name. NASCAR is a family sport. My kids don't need to see that. But at the same time, she's dressed just like the white women that are beside her. But she's the only one that's getting the negative attention.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's not fair.
She put the ass in NASCAR, so now they match.
She put NASSCAR. It's in there. Maybe started watching it again.
Do you feel like, as a black man, though, that because people are hypersensitive about the sexuality of a black woman, like, how does that make you feel in regards to the way you approach and or respect her as a woman?
For me, I guess it's natural to appreciate her. I mean, because our women have always had that. We've always been, like I said, go back to the Sarah Barton days where, we've always been curvaceous. And it makes you, for me, it makes me respect her more and not disrespect her. You know what I mean? Because, she has what she has. It's like I said, I don't know no other way to explain it. People are just going to be who they are. If they're hypersensitive, to sexuality, you can't change anybody,
Right.
And it's all, like I said, we're always going to bring a negative light because we just have some, that, like Dame said, we're pretty much, our women are the model of a shapely woman. You see white women now that are really, growing up.
Putting the lips on, trying to blow the lips up, trying to get
white women in my
implants.
day, to have a butt was
Right.
fat. You know what I mean? That was, you're out of shape, that looks nasty.
Right.
But now you see some of these white women out here, they
I can't even
they
lie
trying to
on
compete.
her. She walking around.
When we talk about
they intimidated.
hypersexual,
And then
one
Because
thing
they're
is, I
women,
think the why.
because they're men.
Yeah, men look at
They're
her.
men are seeing a black woman and they're enjoying.
It's
enjoying.
definitely a why to it. But I think what needs to be educated first and foremost is to our children, to our young black women, even to our, especially, everybody as a whole, but especially to our young black women. We need to talk to them as women about their bodies, about their sex, right? About their sexuality, what that is. We need to answer those questions. We shouldn't wait until our daughters reach the age of being sexually active and actually experience that with other people, and now she's led astray. Now society has, and it's way worse now because she has access on YouTube. She has access on the internet. She has, and guess what? That access starts very, very, very early.
And they start
like
exploring their sexuality
and under
How to
early.
Even
in the cartoons are sexual now, y'all. Like you know, so you gotta be careful. Like you think your child is watching, you know, SpongeBob on YouTube, and she got, you know, he or she is done clicked on SpongeBob, but then it's got all these other little. Now they watching Family Guy at 8. Do you know what Quagmire is doing on Family Guy? On Family Guy. Do you know what he's doing? Like,
Boom, Doctor,
giggity.
giggity.
Yeah, you gotta have those conversations and be open
early.
And that's the thing. Once again, a lot of times with the myth, we don't have the conversations about why we don't talk. It has, and we, I think we see it more because we're in the internet and we have the social media, and times have changed as far as dress, but it's always been hoes.
Yep. Always.
Always before and be.
They was called harlots.
Harlots.
There was two kinds. You could a harlot or you was a hoarder.
And you can have a skirt down to your knees and be and a doily on your head and be dressed with gloves and still be a whore. Yep. You know, it's always been a juke joint. You know, back in the day, it's always been the women who wore red lipstick. And and nothing new under the sun. It's just the way it presents itself to each generation. So it's always been somebody twerking in the back of the club somewhere.
Y'all started it.
And we're gonna finish it Friday. So please make sure that's right.
No. So it's always been that. It's always been that, and it's just about. I think once again, just like we have to know how to redirect our anger, sometimes you have to know how to redirect your that sexual energy, because you have it. It's not a curse. It's not bad to have it. It's just about knowing how to. And we should not shame children.
Right.
We should not shame people for having that. It's a God-given thing. It don't turn on or off when you get married. You got it. So you just have to learn and teach them how to channel it. And not to shame them because
don't put it all over social media.
Because two things happen when you shame it. Either you repress it or you become hypersexual.
Yes, I agree. Protect your sexuality.
I mean, because now we're living in a society now where it's more open on TV. You know, it's more welcoming and what's the word I'm looking for? Accepted, so to speak. You know, back in the day, I mean, we watched TV. I mean, you barely even heard the word sex come across the TV screen. Now you're seeing, you know, men kissing, you're seeing gay relationships. You know, you're seeing, like I say, women more exposed. You know, less, you know, covered.
It's full frontal.
It's so porn.
Like, it really is.
Like, I mean, that's what it is nowadays. And we can't continue to be like, turn the channel. That don't work no more.
That does not work. And without an explanation, these kids want explanation.
Yes, they want why.
We cannot just be like, because I said so. It's like, okay, you might need a little more further. And sometimes those conversations are hard because sometimes we don't know how to why. We don't have it ourselves.
And they are because we don't want to have them because they're 10.
Right. It's hard.
Like, you know, that's something hard as a parent, I'm sure, to have to look at your child and be like, this is ABC, X, Y, Z.
Because these videos be detailed.
Yes.
These songs be detailed.
Yes.
And a lot of times kids be singing these songs and be like, hold up, you ain't supposed to say all that. I don't know what that means. Well,
the media.
So we gotta have those conversations.
I know media was conditioning us for a long time ago when She-Ra and Wonder Woman was out and she came out there with her little suit on. They just started conditioning. I mean, they was getting us ready. That's what She-Ra. Y'all remember She-Ra? They were just getting us ready.
Absolutely.
You know, Betty Boop, all them. You know, you always had that one character that mimicked. They always mimicked. You know, their sexuality, but they did it in sort of ways, and now it's just out there.
So we're gonna move to the last one, guys, and wrap this thing up. The last one is the matriarch. I think one of the greatest in the stereotypes that we have. The greatest threat to the black community is the woman-headed household. It's an unquestioning belief in that the assessments mean single black mothers and their children are demonized. And low black marriage rates can be used as a, what did you get?
Just
this
put
word?
just put a crutch.
Cudgel against black women, even though America as a whole is marrying less. Sorry, thank you for continuing that. So, the matriarch, single black parent, that is definitely a plan of divisiveness or division, I should say. Definitely a plan of division. Definitely a plan that has done pretty well from the creators that be, from the upper powers that is. They've done a really good job at dividing and conquering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we know this, like they've done a very good job at dividing and conquering. However, we know that this is something that is formed by these people.
Right. And it's not
for a reason.
It's to separate and to divide. And really, I know so many married black couples.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so I think when we look at these statistics, we got, like we said, who's putting these out?
Oh God,
and why are they
yes,
putting
I
these out?
agree.
And if we can keep each other at war, and we can feed into this whole, she's single woman. I don't know. We don't all think like that.
No,
and I think we
not
need
at
to understand that blackness as a whole is not a monolith.
Right, I agree.
And we do get married. We do fall in love. We do have relationships. And I think when we talk about the single parent myth, we don't realize that everybody does not want to be married.
Right.
Then when we get these statistics, everybody does not want to be married. Everyone is, at this point, everybody is not in a heteronormative relationship.
Right. Agreed.
You don't take into account widowers. You don't take into account other nuclear family types.
I agree.
And I think so. There are so many statistics
right.
that don't take. Once again, these stereotypes erase the nuances of the whole thing. It's like, well, this might happen, this happen, and it doesn't. I mean, it's so many whys to it.
And I believe some of it comes from, during the time when the child might have been growing up, the mother might have put off, getting married and all of that. And then, so during that time when certain statistics are created, they're not created during the time that the children are seeing someone in the home. Sometimes you have women that are marrying a lot older in life, but the statistics are still pointing at, okay, well, there's still all these single women who are not married. And true enough, there have been situations where it's just been a creation of things over and over from slavery and then to the workforce, where men were sent to work on the railroad, or they were sent to war, or they were sent to the labor where they were away from families for a very long time. That broke up the dynamic of the family a whole lot. And then now, whenever the economy took a whole different turn, and then you have men, the black men, who are starting to resort back to survival mentalities, or they're doing, with so many black men in jail for drugs, petty charges, when it comes to drugs and all these different things.
We have to stop letting society define what family is.
Hello.
Right. Like, just because we ain't married, if I got a partner that's working with me through stuff and making stuff happen, like sometimes that may cause him to be out 6 months out of the year.
Right.
Other cultures do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like my husband travels or my wife travels for business. She's not here 3 to 4 days out of the week. However, we make the household run. I'm not married to the partner that I'm with. However, we still have a family unit. However that looks like to you, if it's functional, if it's something that, you see in the dynamic of everyday normality, you know what I'm saying? And it's something that you built with a partner, or whatever and however that partner looks like, that's your family.
It's what you make it.
Right. And I think also we have to recognize that sometimes for certain women, marriage is not their lifelong, I've made it.
Right.
And I think some people, when we get these statistics and we get these pseudo psychologists who want to tell you everything that's wrong with you as a black woman, and that's why you're not married. First of all, where are you getting your science from?
Right.
Where are you getting your knowledge from?
And what's wrong with you?
Your social observations can totally be skewed.
Right.
And when you read into these, it's just like, well, it's a lot of things you're missing in here.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. We gotta think of whether it's black, white, men, women, have to recognize the source of where this is coming from.
I really just hate that, because you're misconstrued, and they're often misused as like a crutch to our community. And like I said, even now where more people are awakened that marriage is not for everybody. You know what I mean? That quote unquote piece of paper, you know, that the government controls, you know, a lot of things. But, you know, a lot of people are smarter, wiser, and making different kinds of decisions, you know, based upon family, you know.
Later in life than used to be. It used to be where you might get married at 13 or 14. You might get married straight out of high school. Now women and men are waiting a whole lot longer, 30s, late 30s, 40s to get married, till they get settled, till they, listen, I didn't do it right the first time, part 2. So I mean,
statistically speaking,
graduated in June, married in August, baby in May. You know what I mean? I mean, they started earlier. Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of cultures like that.
Oh, yeah.
Asian cultures like that, Mexican cultures. I mean, they all have theirs, but like I said, when we do ours, like I said, the statistics go against us versus you know being rushed into that kind of family structure. You know, what I mean, we wait. You know, I think black people are patient. You know, we
patient. We long suffering.
We get it alone.
You know, we want wait for Mr. Right. You know, wherever Mr. Right may be. You know, but yeah, I mean that's just the way I saw it when I grew up.
And some of them is miserable.
It's
they
people
just
my
there
age
because
right now
of
that have
what
kids that are graduating college. I mean, like,
and they get married right after college.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, man.
Right.
And the single mother, I mean, she's the backbone of the community. She is the backbone of the community. She is all of these archetypes. She was Mammy. Sometimes she's angry. On the low, she might have been a Jezebel. You know, she just is.
She might have to get that rip back.
Hello, you know she did what she had to do. And
Right.
then she's a matriarch. And I think that, you know, that's the energy that stays. You can't help sometimes how it happens or why it happens, but you do. And they shouldn't be demonized because other cultures, you have just lots of single white mothers and single other mothers, but we get because we're watched constantly.
Right.
And it's like, you know what? It's okay. We just do what we gotta do.
That's it.
And survive.
And I think as a whole, as a human race, we just do what we got to do, y'all. I mean, at the end of the day, like we all have to understand that number one, there are people who have the power to enact certain things. And what I love, The Matrix is my favorite movie. I think y'all should check it out. But they program, you know, and set the foundation and set the tones for how they feel like they want society to move and to go. We just play right along into their plan. And so we have to start to open our eyes as people to understand to let society define who we are. Once you decide to embrace the you that you are, once you tear away from that structural system, once you tear away and have that awakening in your soul and awakening in your spirit and have that enlightenment, at that point, it is up to you to tear away from that. Don't allow society to define you. However, figure out spiritually what you're going to create and how you're going to create and what you're going to invest your values and your morals and how is that spiritual enlightenment going to continue? How is that growth going to continue? Because we stun our own growth by being awakened and enlightened but still remaining ignorant.
Yes.
You know, like, and we have to continue to excel and push ourselves and be self-accountable and then hold our friends and our family accountable too. Hey, you know what? This house right here wasn't really that hard to attain. I just had to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z. That's all I had to do. You know, and then guess what? I went to this bank to do it because they actually are very good at making sure that people of this particular race or people of this particular magnitude are getting the help offered that they need. Each one reach one in this capacity. It's gonna be very, very, very important.
You ain't gotta take your STDs out no more to get a house.
Right.
You ain't got to shake it till you make it now.
You don't. Shaq, you got any final words for people?
Well, I just want to, you know, since we're on topic of ladies, I just want to, you know, let every single black woman with kids and that has had to do it by herself, let them know how much